Don't worry guys, I'm back, we're all good, the glory days are about to return. No, but actually we're still in trouble. Sacked in the morning. Your first game in charge and the ravenous crowd of the opposition are chanting that at you. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm starting to feel bad for Chelsea. 11th place, 4 managers, and what I can only imagine to be countless blue faces. Pun intended. Let's play a game of perspective. In 30 Premier League games, Chelsea have scored 29 goals. In 27 Premier League games, Erling Haaland has scored 30. Okay, that example wasn't exactly fair. Erling Haaland's coding is like nothing we've seen before in the Prem, but even if we take him out of the equation, this club continues to be one of the most dysfunctional clubs on the planet. The highest spending club on the planet too. Over £500 million spent, and still they can't find the back of the net. What's been happening recently is frantic, even by Chelsea standards. This has got to be the worst timeline for Chelsea fans. While fans of other big teams are constantly criticizing their owners and advocating for change, Chelsea lost one of the greatest team owners in Prem history. Purely from a sports perspective, of course. We're not going to get into oligarch business here. And now they have owners that, while still being ever willing to spend, have made more than their fair share of blunders. It hasn't even been a full year since the takeover. What's going on, man? Yo, what's going on guys? Hope you're all doing well. Before we get into it, the other day I was on a podcast with my fellow content creator Azam Abdullah where we kind of just talked about Chelsea, the league and other good stuff. The full thing is linked below in the description, so feel free to check it out if you want to. I'll play a short clip here.
If you can call it right now, do you think Arsenal are going to win the league?
I think they're going to win it, man. I think they're going to win it. I think they've got it in them. I really do.
Nah,
I really do.
Honestly, I'm one of the guys that are rooting for Arsenal. I think they're the good guys in this story, man. And I don't think anyone wants Manchester City to catch up.
No, we've had enough.
These two do.
No, I don't want
Definitely.
For this season,
Definitely.
for this season, I don't mind.
You guys are snakes.
I don't mind you guys winning this. I'm going to take this
Snakes.
Yeah.
Get out of here, bro.
Back to Chelsea, and football moves fast. But as of right now, they are not only the clown, they are the entire circus. It's a fucking mess. Of course it is. No one is pretending this was the plan. A remark by a source close to Chelsea executives. This is an unverified quote that's been circulating for the past couple of days, and I usually wouldn't even include something like this in the video without seeing it being reported by multiple reliable sources, but in this case, I don't think it actually matters, because from what we've seen from this club recently, things are bad. I can't lie, I do not have a read on Todd Bowley and Bedad Iqbali, the club owners. Apart from giving the rest of the footballing world even more reason to dislike Premier League spending and American ownership and overpaying for players, the last 10 months haven't been stellar. The nature of the majority of Chelsea's manager sackings over the past, 20 years or so have been polarizing. Deserved in the eyes of some, pretty harsh in the eyes of others. In 2019, Lampard came in and did well in his first year, especially when it came to some of the younger players, but results weren't exactly justified. He had to go. Tuchel came in, won the Champions League, and was supposed to build on from that, which didn't really happen. By the time he was given the boot, results weren't going well in the slightest. But it seems that the reason for his sacking was more to do with a clash in personalities and miscommunication than anything else. I talked about it in more detail here, but it seems it pretty much came down to Tuchel not having the patience to walk the new owners through how the club was run, especially considering the fact that they sacked off much of the staff and wanted Tuchel to take on some of their responsibilities in certain capacities, as well as his coaching responsibilities. They did not gel very well. There was little warmth in his departure too. Tuchel says the meeting when he was let go lasted about 5 minutes. They really told bro, you're fired, and went about their day immediately. Graham Potter seemed different because I think Chelsea's owners really liked him. I mean, that's probably one of the only explanations for why this guy was around for so long. These guys were trash for months. There is, of course, the fact that they paid Brighton £21.5 million to allow him to come over, but apart from that, it seems him and his team left quite the impression at the club. The players seem to like him. From what we know, he's a nice guy, and the board clearly believed he ticked many of the boxes that they wanted. A manager that bought into the vision and goals that the new owners had for the club and was willing to work towards them in the long term. Only issue was that they kept losing and dropping points. points. It's pretty hard to excuse a managerial record of 7 wins, 7 draws, and 8 losses in the league. As The Athletic put it in a recent article, Frank Lampard has only gone ahead and accepted a hospital pass. If you're unfamiliar with what a hospital pass is, this is a hospital pass. And this is Frank. We've seen every rumor under the sun about managers that have been linked with moves to the bridge in the summer. Julian Nagelsmann and Luis Enrique look to be the front runners in my eyes. For no reason other than stop asking me questions, I used science to decide that. Chelsea would be open to the idea of Carlo Ancelotti returning. This headline reads like he's been knocking on their door all this time. I don't know if he has. I see Poch returning to Spurs, Zidane's English isn't great, and apparently he has no interest in managing in England anyway. Jose Mourinho? With this group of players, he'd have a stroke immediately upon stepping foot back in England. Press conferences would be legendary though.
This is football heritage.
We saw it at Wolves, but it's been a pretty common occurrence for these guys over the course of the season. Just sloppy in the final third and lapses of concentration. Both Conor Gallagher and Frank Lampard came out after the game fuming at the lack of aggression on display by the team as a whole. Marc Cucurella was terrorizing the defense, his own defense, and getting cooked by a wonderfully executed plan by Wolves to expose him. To be fair, he wasn't assisted all too much by João Felix on the left flank, who was bullied all afternoon too. The game ended 1-0 and Wolves did score a banger, to be fair, but their lead was never in danger. Against Liverpool the other week, I saw one of the most shocking displays of football that I've ever seen in my entire life. Apart from N'Golo Kante, who these guys desperately missed through injury for basically the entire season, quality on display was atrocious. Truly what happens when a stoppable force meets a movable object. Listen, I get that Chelsea have struggled with strikers for 6 years, but the fact that they've spent all this money and still have Kai Havertz starting up top is a little worrying. Now, I still have the Leverkusen Havertz in my brain. He's a great player. He knows how to arrive in the box and has proven himself to be a great finisher too. But the man is very clearly not a striker. His movement and positioning is all over the place as a 9, which might sound like a slight on him, but it's not, because he isn't. Kante came into training fresh off injury, wondering where Tuchel was and who all these new people were. And now, Potter's vanished despite not even owning an invisibility cloak. I was sat at home and I was still waving my fist demanding a matchday refund. It was that bad. These players really need something, man. I don't know if it's religion, a hug, maybe both. I refuse to believe you can go out and spend almost £600 million on players and still be this bad. I cannot accept that as truth. I will not accept that as truth. Unfortunately, it is true. It's hard to imagine that they're not going to have to make some sales purely for accounting purposes in the summer. But somehow, I doubt they'll be able to recoup costs at the rate they're splashing it out. The madness just keeps going on and on at the bridge. Will it get any better? With all the investment, it's hard to imagine it won't. But then again, I've been wrong before, and I will be wrong again. And there we have it. Let me know what you guys think about Chelsea, a lost cause or a sleeping menace waiting to strike. Feel free to follow all the socials. That's all from me today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're having a great day. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.